And we are live. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. Leicester have just lost 2-0 to Man City. Not too bothered. We'll talk about it. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Let us know what you thought of the match and any thoughts that you've got. Alex, over to you. What are your initial impressions?
Overall, not surprised, but at the same time, you got to give the boys credit. They managed to hold off for a relatively long time. And if you looked at possession in the first half, it was all Man City the entire time. So the fact that we held off for 50 plus minutes is pretty impressive. And like you said, you're facing a team like Man City, and they are an entirely different type of monster when it comes to clubs in the Premier League. So hats off to Leicester for doing what they did, and hats off for Man City because, it just shows why they are in the top spot in the league.
Yeah, and they are one of the best teams that's ever existed in the Premier League, to be honest. So I'm not too mad at it. I mean, it's one of those things where it happened. Okay, it's cool. We didn't deserve to go play to win the game, but at the end of the day, it is what it. I was just saying that as well. Go on, Big Dan. Who's Big Dan? Big Dan. Sorry, I just I just clicked it now. But yes. Anyway, coming back to this, we can't complain. The better team won. I mean, but the thing is, we got what we not deserved, because that's. I wanted to talk about the second goal. I know we're going to skip forward a little bit, but that ball from De Bruyne to take out two players. I mean, I'm just looking at it going, wow. And they came with a game plan, which was to shut Yuri Tillemans out of the game, and I think they did that quite successfully as well.
Yeah, they really did a good job dealing with our midfield. Ndidi and Tielemans were nothing like they are normally. I also think that Tielemans just has had no gas left in his tank from the international break because he played. He just looks knackered. But Man City really did have a solid game plan that they came in, they approached, and they were successful. And really, like I said before, all you can do is, applaud Leicester for doing what they did. They weren't at the top of their game today. But overall, what can you say? We were hoping for a draw. At the end of the day, they challenged as much as they could. It just wasn't our day.
No, it wasn't. I think a good point as well from Aaron. Man City were clearly better. We will admit that straight away. I think we should focus on the Arsenal Liverpool. Exactly. This is one advantage as well of people not taking as seriously as they are. Who's going to be in the headlights today? Leicester? No. Man City? Leicester for losing? No. Man City are going to be in the headlines for the performance, but also Chelsea for the amount they spent. They're losing 5-2 to West Brom. They might lose to West Ham. We'll have to see as well. However, it was one of those things today where we've just got to look and go, fair play. They were the better team. I mean, the first half, I tweeted at halftime, people weren't too happy, but I was like, I'm happy with the way we're performing, because in second half we did come out and create more opportunities and chances and things. But overall, I mean, I can't complain too much. And again, it's just that Man City quality. And I think we had Daps on, and he said Man City will look for revenge. And I think they did. They came with the tactics, they came with a plan, and it worked to a T. I mean, they have so many world-class players in their team. And they were just over, and then player for player, we couldn't compete. And look, we've come a long way in such a small amount of time. And I think that's something to take away as well.
Yeah, and one of the other things is, I think we have had a very strong stretch of matches in the past month and a bit. And it's come to this point where we've kind of I think we've had it in our mindset as fans being like, we can't lose. We might bring up a draw here and we might have a loss every so often, but, every team is going to lose a game. And, I really hope that, fans don't view this game as, the be all to end all, because like at the end of the day, every team loses a game here and there. And, we just move on to next weekend. We face off against West Ham. Let's just get back to our winning ways, and let's keep pushing towards a top 4 finish.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to be a great game against West Ham. So make sure you tune into the channel. Again, selfless plug. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, all the notifications, all that good stuff. Make sure you tune on, because again, Leicester are going to be in a hell of a run for the next 7 games now, and we're gonna go somewhere, and we'll catch you up in terms of we'll have a pre-match and we'll interview a West Ham fan as well, so that should be really good to look forward to. But again, I think there was a lot of positive takes. One of them was Ayoze Perez. I mean, in that second half, there's a reason I was thinking Nacho getting taken off over Ayoze Perez, but then some of the skills he was doing. We know his defensive capability. We know that Rich likes to talk a lot about them as well. I agree, but in this case, some of the passes between his feet I've just never seen something like that before from Ayoze.
Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised. I think we discussed this yesterday, and I think you discussed this all across Twitter and just social media. Regardless, you discuss, with Madison coming back, you have Ricardo coming back, Pratt being fully fit. You go, okay, who's going to be taken off? And I was quite shocked to see Nacho being taken off when he did. Part of me thought that Perez was going to be the one that was going to be taken off. But as you said, he did have some really good touches today, and just his playmaking was fantastic.
Exactly, and brilliant. Another point, yeah. So thank you, Diego Counter, once again. Ayoze looked great, fantastic, and of course, Ant comes in with the Ayoze praise. I know you've been, but again, you call it how it is, mate, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. But again, Madison's Ricardo coming back. It was great to see them back on the pitch. And even in that second half, after 80 minutes, you could see that they were creating opportunities, but we just weren't taking them. And sometimes these days come. Madison hasn't played in such a long time. Then he comes out and he plays the game that he does. Drawing loads of fouls all over the pitch. I think he had pretty good performance as well, and Ricardo. So we can only see the positive. At the moment, I don't see the point in being too negative about this. I mean, Man City, I think in the last 8 games, they've conceded 3 goals. 3 in their last, and they were just insane. When we had a break, Diaz was coming in, chopping people down. They were playing through the midfield. Okay, we got to take it, but yeah, with Madison and Ricardo coming back, that's got to be a good sign for us as well.
No, and you said it perfectly. If we lost, 5-2 to, if we lose 5-2 to West Brom, then yeah, I can totally see us, ranting and whatnot. But we're losing to the top team in the league. It's simple as that. And you know what? There are more positives in this game. Yeah, was it the most enthralling and most enthusiastic game of the season? Definitely not. But were there positives? Absolutely. You have players like Madison and Ricardo who have been facing injury really all season. They've been in and out of the lineup. To see them back fit and coming into the game and even getting 20 minutes, that's a positive. And they're going to keep working at that. And, as we move along, it's going to be, getting these players that have been injured and getting them back to fully fit is going to be great because you want them for this run of the final 7 games. Like this is where, it's key to have these players fully fit. Like I said, this game, I'm not concerned about. Let's move on to the next one. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry. I was listening to you and I just saw this. He was so unlucky, in my opinion, he was lucky to still be on the pitch. I mean, again, it's something that you don't expect from Daniel Amati to lose his head. And he had 2 or 3 attempts at having to go at him. And after that, Kevin De Bruyne did not look happy. But yeah, I think that would have completely changed the mood, in my opinion. If he had got a red card, he's missing a match, then Soyuncu's out with allegedly, I don't know if this is confirmed by the club or not yet, that he's got positive coronavirus case, so he's out for 2 weeks for that. Well, it might be slightly shorter, I think, with footballers. But however, in this case, it is what it is with this one. And if we had a red card, I think we're looking at this match very differently. It was unnecessary to do that.
Yeah, well, first off, I honestly thought a hockey game was going to break out. De Bruyne looked like really, really rattled. So I'm like, oh, we're going to see a fight? Like, I'm like, oh man, like, as the Canadian sitting here in Canada being like, oh man, we're going to see a fight. I'm like, oh, are we watching hockey? But
where's the popcorn?
Honestly, like seriously, right? But honestly, you know what? Like, yeah, it was quite surprising to see, Amarty do that. But tensions run high and emotions are, especially in these types of games, Man City, really want to showcasing the fact that they are, the top of the league and they wanted revenge. And, this entire game just kind of seemed to be chippy, like from start to finish. There was tackles and fouls. It seemed to go left, right, and center. And, when it gets to the end of the game, I feel like, those are when the tensions run the most high. But yeah, I couldn't believe how fired up De Bruyne was. He was rattled. But it would have been very interesting if they left him on. So it was a smart decision from Pep to take him off.
He was completely red, and he was quite funny at the same time. But again, it's good that it's good that again nothing came of it. That he's through to the next round. And actually, before that, I actually had him as in the first half, especially a really good player. Daniel Amate didn't probably expect to play the game. It hasn't been called up for Ghana, but I can imagine with the performances that we're doing, hopefully he'll be called up for Ghana as well. And he came in and played really resolutely, all three at the back, pretty much. And it took an absolutely beautiful ball in from Kevin De Bruyne and to get past them. However, defensively, I think we were pretty good today. I think that's something that other players were completely steamrolled. And I've been on a podcast just yesterday, and they were talking about how we're going to get completely taken over by we're going to get, I forgot the word they used, like tranced by Man City. We didn't. We played. It was good. We weren't good enough. It was like we were 6, 7. They were at 8, 9 up. And when that's the case, you just got to take it. But yeah, defensively, I think we were pretty solid today. And then sorry.
No, yeah, and I agree with you on that. One of the things I think that we did we were calm, cool, and collected. That's the one way I kind of viewed it. We were we were defending, it seemed like, the entire game. And the few opportunities that we had where we could either counter or go into their area was awesome. But overall, we did what we could, and this game really could have been much bigger of a blowout, in my opinion. So, you got Schmeichel doing what he did with many saves and, really keeping the team in it. He almost had his fingers on the first goal, which would have been, a complete game changer if that did happen. So, this is a result that, is it the one we wanted? Definitely not. Would we have wanted a draw? For sure. But, like I said, we just got to keep moving on. 7 games left. It's not like we're facing the lowest team in the league. We're facing the best team in the league. Let's move on. Let's go into next weekend. Let's do this.
Yeah, and that's kind of my mentality at the moment. I'm just trying to find Leicester City fixtures. I'll be back in a second. Again, one person who we have to thank, probably we do it majority of matches now, Kasper Schmeichel. I mean, for that 40 minutes Mahrez stop with his foot, that was just insane. And it won't be talked about, in my opinion, as much as it should have been. But again, that was a fantastic stop to keep it at 0-0 before half-time. And I think that was part of Brendan Rodgers' game plan. Come into half-time, okay, frustrate Man City, they'll have to push more. We can then hit them on the counter and score. And that nearly happened, but it didn't happen. And that's okay. But I think, in Brendan Rodgers to play this way. And I think it's going really well. But again, back to the thing. Schmeichel, brilliant save. And again, couldn't really stop them 2 goals going in.
No, and like I said, he almost had his fingers on the one, but at the end of the day, you can't save the Mendy one, and and the other goal at the same time. Like, you can only do so much, and like I said, we've been preaching and praising about Kasper Schmeichel this entire season, and one game where he lets in 2 goals is not going to change that, because other than those 2 goals, which in my opinion he couldn't have saved no matter what, he played fantastic. Exactly. So moving forward, like I said, he's one of the best keepers in the league.
Exactly. And another point, at least we have fans and don't need £1 million to spend on a good defense, which is true to a certain extent. I mean, if you look at they've spent 100 million maybe on defenders, 60 million on Diaz, who looks really good, but he should be at 60 million. And then I think another 40 on Ake, so 100 million just in centre backs this year. We can't do that. We So again, it is what it is. I wouldn't get too much into it. However, I think another player that needs shouting out as well. We've talked about a player that's obviously in Amate, but also Mark O'Brien today. I think again, put in a steady shift, did fantastically. I think he deserves a lot of praise.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely could see. Everyone gives him a rough go, and he does the job what is needed to do. And, he plays offense and he plays defense. He can do both. And he really is that all-around player that can play on the wing, which is just someone that you always love to have. And, yeah, I can't really say anything other than what you've said. He played a good game, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where we can't highlight too much of another, but there's not really too much to talk about in this match. I think one of them I want to mention as well is Timothy Castagna. At times, we've seen him play a lot deeper, and Ricardo's bombing on that right-hand side. Today, we saw him. We've got the versatility to go, right, we're going to take turns. And he was trying it. When you're playing against a player like Kyle Walker, he'll run you off the pitch. I think he's the quickest fullback in the Premier League. He's insanely quick. But he had a go, and he defensively was pretty solid as well.
Yeah. I liked what he did. I think he did a good job. But like you said, he's coming up against Kyle Walker, and that's just Kyle Walker's going to win that challenge 9 out of 10 times. So, you can only do so much. And like I said, even about Castagna, he's been battling injuries this seson as well. So, he's still trying to get. So he's also still trying to figure things out, and and that's one of the big things as well. And I think it's kind of like the way I kind of viewed this game as it was a test game in a sense. You're starting to get players back to full fitness. With Matters and Ricardo, and even in my opinion, Castagna is not 100% fully fit. You're just coming off of internationals, so Yuri is just exhausted. This game is kind of just to get them back in it, and just to see what they can do. And like I said, this is one of the games that I saw in the schedule, and I was like, if we're gonna lose a game, this would be the game to lose. If we do anything other than a loss, then it's bonus. So
exactly. So we'll take it, and I think that's the way I'm looking at it as well. I don't think people in the comments are too disappointed. Anyway, we'll kind of move on from this result. Again, look at the likes of Chelsea. There will be more that mentioned as well. And again, as we said in the post-match, it is a free hit, and I want to just put that in the comment section down below as well. But yes, I think it is a. I think that's the case. Anyway, let's go on to the next 4 games we've got, because this is going to really help us in the run. So just off the screen a little bit, but West Ham away. Then we've got the FA Cup. On the 18th of April against Southampton. But then after that, West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and then Newcastle United. So pretty much 1 game a week from here on out. With last international break is now over, Alex, and at the end of the day, couldn't be happier in the position we're in. And that's the way I want to go in terms of this. This is pretty much how it is, and that's pretty cool in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? The internationals are over. Let's full steam ahead. Let's go. Like we were discussing. With West Ham next weekend. We focus in on that game. Let's come out of that game with 3 points. Let's keep pushing ourselves up higher in the top 4 position and maintain that that Champions League spot. Then we have that Southampton semifinal, which I know every single one of us is just absolutely amped for, which, is going to be one heck of a game. Mm-hmm. And then, we come back, to the Premier League to play more games. And, with the schedule that we have, I really think we can really catch up on points and really solidify that top 4 and, and clinch it. And I think if we play the best, if we play our way over the next few weeks, we could be looking at hands down, not even having to worry about, Champions League football. I really do think over the next month and a couple weeks, I think we won't have any issue talking about Champions League. I think we'll be saying, okay, we're going to the Champions League next season. What are we going to do?
Exactly. We're going to the Champions League, and also, as Glenn put, we might be on to the final. It's kind of that might be a thing as well in terms of 1 game a week. Take it as it comes. I mean, this is pretty good in my opinion. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Because to be fair, there wasn't. It was the better team won. It's okay, but going forward, we've got a lot of opportunities to grow. We just now have to get the squad together, get the training back, because some of these players, I didn't hear this until listening to Rob Tanner podcast with Matt Elliott, and he was saying some of the players came back on Friday. And they're expected to play today. Like, that's a lot. That is a lot to try and take in. Anyway, but again, internationals are over. It's finished. We've done. It's going to be a short one because I don't think. Oh, obviously, Alex, if there's anything else you want to touch on, any player in particular today?
So I got 2 things. Number 1, focusing on Kalichi Iheanacho's, or I can't even pronounce his last name. Nacho's. Signing his contract till 2024.
Yes.
Very, very exciting. I think a lot of us are quite happy with that, especially with how he was playing in March. So I'm very excited.
Even this match. Or
Oh,
even
even
this
in this
match in the
match,
first
no, I
half,
was
he was very good.
no, I was very happy, and a lot of people, even I saw on Twitter, were like, "Oh, I think we just kind of saw a hiccup in Nacho's performance," and that's one thing, and you know,
Sorry, Alex, you're gonna get memed for this now.
yeah. But overall, like Nacho, what he did, he did. I think what he did this game was quite good. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of chances, and he did what he could to capitalize. The second thing I want to talk about is do not miss tomorrow Leicester City women's game for the final. Or
Yes,
not for the final. Sorry, we can win. If one win tomorrow, we will win the league. So do not miss out. It is available on the FA Player. So that's something to definitely watch. And then don't forget to check in and watch the live reaction from Beyond the 90 afterwards.
definitely. And again, this is a massive, massive, massive game for Leicester City going up to the Premier League in the women's WSL. Fantastic, and we've got this. I'm hoping so. Make sure to tune into Hannah's game again. If you want to, if you're thinking, what we're gonna do with my Sunday now, go make sure you spend your Easter. This is going to be a massive game for us. And also, if you haven't noticed, we have an hour-long special with the captain of Leicester City women's. I mean, you can't get bigger than this. Leicester. So make sure you go check them out after this video. Insane interview with James and Hannah. Absolutely smashed it out of the park for this one. 2 interviews in a week. Owen Palmer-Ratkin and Ashley Plumtree. I mean, come subscribe to the channel. Be along for the journey, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see everybody later. Goodbye.